into the future. Good morning. Good into the good. 120 minutes.
Hello there, Matt Pinfield with you for 120 minutes on MTV. Tonight we've got a very special edition of 120 lined up for you. Not only is it my first time hosting the show, but it's my great pleasure to have as my co-hosts Dave Gahan and Martin Gore from Depeche Mode. We also got a lot of great videos tonight from King Missile, Ultra Vivid Scene, Soul Asylum, and Sloan. Plus brand new ones from the Goo Goo Dolls, Betty Severe, Best Kissers in the World, and The Shaman. 1 hour from now, we'll world premiere a brand new video from the Sundays, and right here, a world premiere from Sonic Youth's Dirty album. Here's the planet's first look at Sugarcane. From Happy Hour, that's New York City's King Missile with Detachable Penis here on MTV's 120 Minutes. And an interesting story about that video. When John S. Hall, the lead singer, was filming that in New York City, outside, he was swinging around a giant detachable penis and was almost arrested for it, for indecent exposure of a phony penis.
Rightly so as well.
Would you think so? Absolutely. Okay, I just want to let you know that I'm Matt Pinfield. I'd like to introduce you to tonight's very special guests, Dave and Martin from Depeche Mode. It's good to have you here. Excellent. Thanks for coming by. Now, it's been 3 years since the massive success of Violator. And what's different about this record? Was it a real challenge to make it, to wait 3 years and to put on another record? Did it take a long time to get the feel to do another one?
That's all right. I have to answer this one, yeah. I think that we don't really think that much about sort of going from album to album. Violator was incredibly successful, and yeah, in the back of your mind, you want to sustain your success. We've pretty much we've climbed and climbed, and we've got more and more successful at what we do, and our audience has got bigger and bigger, and the fans have pretty much been there all the time with us, right. Which is a lot to do with that, Yeah. So I think what we do is we want the songs to be great, and we go into the studio with the attitude of this has got to be better than the last album, and in terms of what we want to do and put out, we want it to be different. We try and push ourselves as much as possible to try some different ideas and try different things out. Like with this album, we introduced some different people in. We had some gospel singers come in, and we had a string section. We had a hill and pipe player, which is like this bagpipe thing. Right. And we had never really worked with any other musicians like that, so that was pretty interesting. And for us, to be in there, for instance, when Mark was singing One Caress with a 28-piece string section, to watch that and it's live and being done right then, it was really, really exciting. I had sort of all chills down the back of my back. Yeah. And, started thinking about live and performing the songs, and then all those sorts of things come into mind when you start recording, again. But I think we just go into with the attitude that we want to make the best record possible,
That's great, and you definitely have. And we'll be back with Dave and Martin in just a little bit, but you're watching 120 Minutes, and we're going to get right now to the Goo Goo Dolls' new video. They're from Buffalo, New York, from the album Superstar Car Wash. This is We Are the Normal. Welcome back to 120 Minutes. I'm Matt Pinfield, and with me tonight, Dave and Martin from Depeche Mode. We just saw a little bit of Just Can't Get Enough from your 81 debut album, Speak and Spell, in the Vince Clarke days. Here we are 8 albums later, 12 years later.
We might as well go home right now. We probably destroyed our career.
What, with the old songs? Are you not fond of the old songs? You care about
No, it's actually, it's just, when you see something like that, I mean, it was literally, how many years ago?
Yeah, it's 12 years
12
now.
years ago, and, we look about 10 years old, and it sounds like we made the record when we was about 10 years old as well. But, I don't know, see, that was like a Vince song, and right. Vince's style of writing and everything is completely different to Martin's, and everybody, that song has kind of been like this thing that's hung around our neck for years and years and years, and still trying to shake the just can't get enough thing off a bit, just because we've moved on so much. You know, it's not that we're not proud of what we've done in our past, of course we are, but you've got to move on, and I know people have to sort of hark back to the history but I was just pick a different video.
Right. Now, Martin, as far as your songwriting goes over the years, has it changed from back when you started with A Broken Frame? Has the whole approach to the way you write your songs changed at all? I mean, the instruments you use.
No, I still basically work in the same way. I usually start with an acoustic guitar, work out the chord structure, vocal melody, lyrics, and then I usually sort of move on to, you know, computers and samplers and stuff, and then try and work out a demo that I can present to the rest of the band.
Right. That's great, and that's so...
I would hope that there's been some, you know, evolution, though. I hope so.
Yeah, I think there definitely has. You know, I mean, Mark's, you know, as I said before, I think Mark's demos are quite stripped back now, to whereas around sort of time of construction time again, and Some Great Reward, those albums, Martin was really kind of right up to Music for the Masses even, was really finishing demos in that the arrangements and structures, and he was pretty strict about that's how he wanted it to be. So we would go in the studio and you know, make that song better, you know, record it in a more professional way, if you like. But I think over the last couple of years, especially the last couple of albums, Alan and myself and Flood have been able to have a lot more influence in things like sound and structure and arrangement and all that kind of stuff, and you know, attitude and what kind of instrumentation is going to be used for that part, and you know, so it's more fun now basically, and everybody, I think that you can feel good about that you have more involvement in the making of the thing. It's not just like Mark hands it to us and we, you know, copy it kind of thing anymore.
He's got more democratic over the years.
But I don't know about Mark's probably, I mean, Mark was saying it's the same as what you're probably still the same in the way he writes a song. Right.
Speaking of going back to older albums, though, here's a video that goes way back to '84 and Depeche Mode's fourth album, Some Great Reward. This is Master and Servant.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
From their seventh album, Grave Dancers Union, that's Soul Asylum with Black Gold. That video features, in case you didn't notice, a cameo from George Wendt, also known as Norm from Cheers. It's MTV's 120 Minutes. My name is Matt Pinfield, and stay tuned, because we've got a world premiere video from the Sundays coming up, plus a brand new one from Betty Sevier. And right after the break, more with tonight's special co-host, Depeche Mode. First, a look at the top 10 albums on alternative radio this week. Welcome back, I'm Matt Pinfield, and stick around for a world premiere video from the Sundays, plus the latest from Sloan. Tonight we're spending 120 minutes with Dave and Martin from Depeche Mode. Making this record, your vocal sound is a little different, and especially on the single of I Feel You. It's really in your face, it's got a lot of edge, it's great. What's different about the way you did the vocals on this one, Dave?
Well, I think, first of all, I tried a lot harder. You know, I was very conscious. I think my voice has changed quite a bit over the last few years. I like to sing live in the studio as well. I like to sort of just have a mic and monitors and stuff like I would live when we're on tour, and I felt a lot more comfortable doing that. And also, I just, you know, I think a lot of the time as well, we've done a lot of stuff where we discovered that I could sing in a higher octave. So we've done a lot of kind of stuff like that where I'd sing the song in the same key, but we'd be up an octave, so that was mixed in there as well, so it gave it a much more of an edge and stuff. But, you know, I think my voice has just matured a lot, and I've gained a lot more confidence. A lot of that's due to sort of live work and stuff like that. Plus, I rested my voice for a long while.
Right. Well, that helps a lot, too, I'm sure. Martin, as far as when you wrote it, I mean, just like the demo version of Personal Jesus, which is straight out acoustic, which had an edgy feel, kind of like blues meets whatever, but it was cool. Same feeling when you wrote I Feel You?
Pretty much. It was, you know, very riff-based. You know, the demo was just basically like a shuffle beat, the riff, and that sort of cross beat, like a vocal sound, and that was basically the demo with the vocals over the top.
Right.
And it did sort of sound slightly Personal Jesus-like, and we were aware of that, and you know, sort of
we've actually tried to steer it away.
Sort of steer it away from that direction.
Because it's very bluesy in the same sort of way, you know, and it had that kind of beat, you know, that shuffle beat on the floor that those guys would be doing when they're, you know...
Yeah, sitting there and doing the blues songs.
And that's what we was trying to do as well, you know, but mixing it in with the classic sort of Depeche, you know, treatments.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, myself and everyone else as well, we wanted it to have a much more of a live feel, and we wanted the thing to sound a lot more ballsy and straight in your face and stuff like that, as you said before. So there was a lot more performance really going down on that track as well, in terms of playing and Mark playing guitar and stuff like that, and me singing.
You can feel it too. I mean, you can hear it. It's layered. It sounds great. It comes out at you. It's in your face. We'll be checking out the new Depeche Mode video for I Feel You in just a few moments. But first, here's a new one from a Dutch band called Betty Seveert. This is off their debut album Palomine, and it's called Tomboy. From their debut album Smeared, that's a band from Halifax, Nova Scotia called Sloan, with their video Underwhelmed here on 120 Minutes. I'm Matt Pinfield, and be sure to stick around for a world premiere video from the Sundays. It's their cover of the Rolling Stones classic Wild Horses, and if you haven't heard this one yet, it sort of does what the Cowboy Junkies did for Lou Reed's Sweet Jane. That's coming up, and of course more with tonight's special co-hosts, Depeche Mode. Stick around, because we are just 5 minutes away from a world premiere video from the Sundays here on 120 Minutes. I'm Matt Pinfield, and tonight Dave and Martin from Depeche Mode are here. Your new album is due out on March 23rd. It's called Songs of Faith and Devotion, and the single, of course, is I Feel You. Was that a conscious thing to write a rockin' song there, Martin, with a rock feel? I mean, you covered Route 66 years ago, and then Personal Jesus took people by surprise the first time out. Was it something you said, hey, I'm going to do this, it's going to be a different feel?
Not really. It's just
It just came out that way?
Everything's just very natural. You know, I don't know what my intentions are when I sit down and write a song. I just try and capture some emotion and try and communicate with people, and that's about it, really.
Right, what kind of things have you been listening to? Have they had any influence on what you're doing right now?
Probably, yeah.
You listen to a lot of blues. Mark listens to a lot of blues stuff all the time. So.
A lot of blues and gospel, and I think, you know, there is a certain gospel influence, even if it's, you know, got our trademark on it. I think it's, you know, I think it is there still.
I think the whole album has a real that spiritual, if you like, kind of feel to it, and it really lifts. I mean, it really lifts me. I hope it does the same for everybody else.
Right.
And I think that it's because there's a lot of those influences in there. And the same from me, you know, I listen to a lot of that kind of stuff now as well, a lot of blues stuff.
That's great. Now, the video was done out in California. In a Mission, you decided to do that. Was that something you guys decided to do with Anton?
We actually done photos in the Mission, but we shot the video out in the desert,
did you?
where Anton likes to be quite a lot of the time. And it was actually really freezing. It was we was hoping for sunshine, and it was mostly rain. But we were lucky. We you know. Because it was raining, there was a lot of cloud and stuff like that, and I think it adds to the scenes. You know, it almost looks like that we've built some scenes and none of it's really real. You're not quite sure whether it's like, you know, what's going on there. You know, but it was all done out in the desert. Yeah.
That's great. Well, why don't we check it out right now? Here is the new video from Depeche Mode for I Feel You.
Into the future. Good morning. Good into the good. 120 minutes.
Hello, I'm Matt Pinfield with you again for the second 60 of MTV's 120 Minutes. I just want to let you know that next week the show will start a half an hour later, 12:30, 11:30 Central. But don't get really worried about it, because the following week it'll go back to its usual schedule. Coming up, more conversation with Dave and Martin of Depeche Mode. Also, alternative music videos from Sugar, The Candy Skins, Ned's Atomic Dustbin, Therapy, and Belly. Plus brand new ones from the best kissers in the world, The Shaman, and right here to kick off the hour is the world premiere video from the Sundays. From the album Blind, here as promised is the planet's first look at their cover of the Rolling Stones classic, Wild Horses. From their debut album, Copper Blue, that's ex-Husker Du frontman Bob Mould's new band, Sugar, with If I Can't Change Your Mind. You're watching MTV's 120 Minutes. My name is Matt Pinfield, and joining me tonight, it's Dave and Martin from Depeche Mode. Let's talk about, speaking of spiritual, and the title of the album, Songs of Faith and Devotion, there's songs on the album like Mercy, Judas, Condemnation, Higher Love. Very spiritual themes there. Is that what direction you're going in with yourself as far as your writing?
I think I've got a problem and I should go and see a psychoanalyst.
I think you're right, Mark.
I mean, it's not just this album. I've only ever dealt with about 3 topics in all of my songs ever. Love, sex and religion, and they're usually all, you know...
That's pretty much it, though. It's a life, isn't it?
They make the world go round.
Intertwined, you know. A lot of the time I think they're the same thing, so that's what you know, I tend to write about as my, you know, inspiration.
I mean, a lot of people often ask me as well, you know, if it's difficult for me to sing Mark's lyrics and stuff like that as well. And no, it's not. You know, I always say no, because the subjects that he sings about are, you know, life. really, and experiences in life, and where all sorts of people going through all the time. So it's easy for me to do that.
Right. I mean, you've expressed it so many different ways. From "I Want You Now" on Music for the Masses to, I mean, even "Somebody," which is some people's favorite song of all time. They just love. They feel it portrays so many passions and human emotions in that track. It's a great song. All those songs are really great. And the new record's great, too. And we'll be talking more with David Martin later. Yeah, okay. We'll be talking more with David Martin later.
We'll be taking Matt on tour with us as well.
I've played some more of the good ones on this show, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've only played, well, you played Shape with These. I like that, and I Feel You. That's about it, though.
Now that you've crucified us with the...
Oh, well, hey, show people how far you've come. It's a great feeling.
All right.
Okay. All right, we'll be back. We'll be checking out a cult classic with Depeche as well. Right here is a video from Oxford's England's Candy Skins, and their new album's called Fun. This is Wembley. It's MTV's 120 Minutes. I'm Matt Pinfield, and David Martin from Depeche Mode are here.
And we're very confused.
But we're having fun.
Yeah.
It's just the videos you're checking out. You haven't seen them in a long time, right? So it's
like that
flipping you out a little bit?
Strange Love, that was the American version of the single, and we were sort of forced to do another video at the time, and weren't as happy with it as the original that we done with Anton.
Right.
But there you go.
And there it is. Okay. Well, of course, you guys are here, but with Fletch and Andy, of course. I'm sorry, Fletch is Andy. Fletch and Alan. Fletch and Alan. How are those guys doing? I mean, when it comes to the individual things you guys do in the band Depeche Mode, you're just half of it. What is everybody's role in the band, Martin?
Well, basically, I had to take on the songwriting mantle, really, when Vince left the band, because somebody had to do it.
Was that really what it was like? How was it? Was it a scary thing? Was it frightening when it first happened? I mean, when he left, did you say, well, here's what I'm going to do? Or were you writing already?
Well, I was already writing. I started writing songs when I was about 13, so it was like, more of a natural thing, really. Just, as I said, somebody had to do it, and I'd already been doing it for 5, 6 years anyway. So I just carried on. And we didn't worry about it too much. We were too young and naive to even worry, When you're young, you tend not to worry about it.
You really don't, you don't plan out things so much. And, we just went into the studio and Martin was forced to write 10 songs or whatever, and we went in and recorded them. And really, when you listen to A Broken Frame, we all think it's our weirdest album because it's quite patchy and all over the place. So much really like kind of lightweight pop, and then there's these kind of experimental tracks like Monument and stuff like that. It's like usually it's the maddest fans that are into that album.
Yeah. Like Secret Garden, to Photograph of You. I mean, going back and forth in the whole record.
Yeah. Leaving Silence was the single that was on there, which was
first one.
Yeah.
That's great.
So going back to your original question, so I took on that role, and Alan is a musician. He's like a classically trained pianist, and he's a lot more musically talented than the rest of us, basically, because he's, that's
plus he'll work a lot harder.
Yeah, and we're a lot lazier, so we tend to let him do a lot of that side of things. Dave's naturally a singer. We took Dave on because we liked his voice. He's the singer, and Andy's not musical at all, so he sort of tends to involve himself in like the more business side of things.
Right, I see, but it all works out together.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the roles are pretty defined now, but at the same time, it works really well together. As you say, Flood describes it as like these 4 corners of a square that come together, and we make something really special when we come together and it works.
Right.
So I think there's less aggravation now with people fighting for space and stuff like that, because over the years everyone has found their space, and Al's happy to sit at the desk for 12 hours a day.
Right, and it's working out great now.
He's over there now, in fact. Still.
Okay, more with David Martin a little later on, but right now here's a brand new video from Seattle's Best Kissers in the World. Their new album's called Puddin'. Actually, it's an EP, and this song is called Picking Flowers For. From their first full-length album, Nurse, that's an Irish trio called Therapy with Nausea here on MTV's 120 Minutes. I'm Matt Pinfield, and still to come tonight, the latest from Belly, a brand new video from The Shaman, and a cult classic from tonight's special co-hosts, Depeche Mode. Welcome back to 120 Minutes. I'm Matt Pinfield, and my special co-hosts tonight are Dave Gahan and Martin Gore from Depeche Mode. Now, when it comes time to decide who's going to sing the songs, you've sung a few on the records there, Martin. Is it a thing that the whole band decides on, or when you're writing the tracks themselves, you say, this is something that I'd like to take the lead vocal on? How does that work out?
Well, I'd like to say that, I felt closer to some of the songs and felt a need to sing them, but it isn't true. And so the answer's a lot more boring than that. It's just, some songs suit my voice, and a lot of the songs suit Dave's voice. It's really as simple as that.
It's quite black and white now as well. We don't, you know, pretty much when we go in, like with this album, you know, there was certain things. I mean, sometimes I might want to sing a song that, you know, Mark's going to end up singing, and we'll try it out, and my voice is a bit too aggressive on it or something, and I can't. And then Mark will go in, and he's got his beautiful voice, you know, goes, and it's really quite obvious to us, you know. So it's not something we fight at or anything like that. I think it's good as well, and it adds different feels for the album.
To each record, right? Now, singing with the choir, how was that? Was that a really intense feeling doing that whole thing with that, Martin?
With the string section.
Yeah, the string section. Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
It was something that was so different for us that it just was very interesting. You know, we usually spend at least 3 weeks recording every song, then probably another week mixing it, and that was done in a few takes.
Yeah, it was exciting,
and it was very spontaneous.
It's, about as spontaneous as it gets. And I mean, I was saying to someone earlier that it was like 10 minutes of. You know, when Mark actually went in and sung it a couple of times, you know, and it was the first time he'd done it, when he could feel the tension in the studio and the whole 28-piece string sections there waiting to go. Yeah. It's all worked out, you know, it's all that. And Mark just went in and went in the booth and sung with him, and I think he sang fantastically because he was battling against this string section as well that were really loud, you know.
Right.
And they were totally into it as well, you know, and afterwards the guy arranged it, Will Malone come in, and he was like, wow, that was great, you know.
Yeah.
It was, you know, I had all the hairs on the back of my neck were standing up, and it felt really exciting.
Complete chills, right? That's great. Well, here's a song that Martin sang lead on from Depeche Mode's '86 album, one of my favorites, Black Celebration. It's called A Question of Lust. Thanks for staying up with 120 Minutes tonight. Believe me, we really do appreciate it. I'm Matt Pinfield, and tonight my special guest co-hosts have been Dave and Martin from Depeche Mode. It was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we had a good time.
I really enjoyed it. I wanted to ask you real quick before we do have you head out, and I'd like to know when you plan on going on tour, and have you thought about opening acts or any of that stuff yet?
We've got a list like this long of ideas for opening acts, and it's really difficult actually because, you know, we like to take somebody out with us that we all like and that we're all into, and it's...
And that list's about this long.
Yeah, and that list's about this long, because we all come from different, you know, everybody likes different kinds of stuff, but... we're getting there. We're getting close to it. Yeah, we start the tour in May in Europe, and in France. We're there over in Europe for quite a while, and we come over here in September. Start in September, right up until Christmas, pretty much. And then after that, we're off to in the new year. I think we're going to go to South America and Australia, Far East. Then we'll probably come back to America the following summer. So it's we've got a long way to go yet.
Excellent.
But I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, everybody's really excited that you're coming back over. They're psyched. They want to see the band live again. Yeah. You know, so it'll be great and see the new songs live and some of the old favorites as well.
It'll be different as well because we've approached this whole album in a different sort of way as well with regards to performance, and you know, Al's going to be playing some drums, and you know, we're hoping to have a couple of singers with us as well to help out some vocals. And I think there'll be all the sort of classic Depeche stuff in there in the show, but I think there'll be a few surprises and some things that you haven't seen Depeche Mode do before. And so for us as well, that's really exciting too, and a challenge, you know.
Great. Well, thanks a lot for coming. I really appreciate it. Dave, Martin, great to have you.
Cheers.
And we'll see you later. We'll see you again when you come and tour. We're really looking forward to that. And here's a brand new video for the title track to the Shaman's latest album. This is Boss Drum. That's The Shaman with Boss Drum, and that's the final video on 120 Minutes tonight. Thanks very much to Dave and Martin from Depeche Mode for stopping by, and be sure to tune in next Sunday when John and John from They Might Be Giants will be here to host and play acoustic. And don't forget the time has changed next week. It's 12:30, 11:30 Central, but just for 1 week, so don't get upset about it. And if you feel like it, write in and let us know what you thought of tonight's show. The address is 1515 Broadway, 24th floor, New York, New York, 10036. Thanks for watching, and for 120 Minutes, I'm Matt Pinfield. Stay tuned now as the 90s music revolution continues right here on MTV.